What's up, guys? This is Tristen Hartley here, back with the 4-1 podcast. We have such a special episode for you today. We have our first guest for this podcast, my friend, probably one of my best friends, my brother, Jonston Smith, is going to be with us today. I hope you guys enjoy this conversation. Let's get into this thing in the 4-1 podcast. Yeah, when the NBA dynasty was like the Warriors dynasty, when they were cooking, I was bought in.
The only thing that has kept me interested a little bit is like the documentary that came out about Steph with the Dream Team thing, or Team USA.
Court of Gold or something like that.
Yeah. They called him like the devil or something in like their language. I forgot what it was.
Yeah, that was crazy.
But it's sad because all the players that we grew up like watching, like we're now the unks. Like how we made fun of my dad and Jody, like made fun of them all the time about, the Jordan years and all that. How they would always and now that's us. Like all of our players that we love are.
Do you know? I remember the first time I got bought into NBA basketball was I watched a playoff game when the Memphis Grizzlies had Zach Randolph, Mark Gasol, like Rudy Gay, I think, and Mike Conley, and I watched them play a young Damian Lillard, and this was probably like, oh my gosh, this was years ago, and I was so bought in.
That was like pre-prime Damian Lillard, probably.
Oh, he was a kid.
Yeah.
He was an infant, bro. But it was so good. That was my favorite basketball game, and that got me bought in. But are we rolling?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
Let's do it. We're so bad.
Right, yeah,
the journey that we've taken to get to this moment. I lost brain cells, but I gained character.
That's true. That's so true. Well, you probably know from the intro, everybody watching, we're yapping. But if you're watching, you know that I'm here with Jonston. We've known each other our whole lives, and we're family.
A little bit.
Technically, I guess cousins, but we're brothers.
Yeah. The older brother I never had.
Absolutely. The younger brother I never had.
Let's go.
I have one younger sister, so.
I know.
Yeah.
Shout out Bella. Shout out to Bella.
So you came up this way, did a worship night for our youth group last night. Fire, by the way. Any feedback, any thoughts on that?
First, I just want to say shout out to Marie. Getting me locked in for the pod. Alani, she cooked on that basket, dude.
Shout out Marie.
I felt blessed, man. It was awesome. Yeah. So last night was dope. I got to bring in, it was just a few good moments and things. Like I got to bring in a friend from college, Pri. Mm-hmm. She's the best. ORU.
She was so sweet. I'm so glad I have a new friend in Pri.
Yeah. I told you I bragged on her before I got here. I was like, dude, you'll see, like you'll love her. I knew you would love her. I've never met anybody that doesn't like Pri. So if you don't like Pri, it's probably your fault.
Yeah, you're the problem.
It's the first time I've traveled with my wife singing with me, so that was cool. And like seeing her grow and grow vocally and all that, and like us serving together, it's been awesome. And then my brother Braden, him being here and first time ever playing with me, and it's really cool like seeing his journey and like the stuff that he's gone through and where he's at now with his walk in the Lord and stuff. It was just like, it was like a God moment because, you walk through life and sometimes you go through things just like, God, why are you letting this happen? Or why aren't you answering my prayers? And then I zoom out and I see what God's doing, in other ways. And it's just like, it's humbling and it's like, I'm thankful,
I have a moment so similar to that, but a little different. And that is that last night, for the worship night, we had some guests come in. I said this last night. So my very first Wednesday night I ever stepped behind a platform to be a youth pastor, there were like 6 total people in the room. And 4, or I guess including myself, so 5 of those 6 people were in the room last night.
Yep.
Jesse and Anthony were there. They're youth leaders at their church, and they brought some kids to join us last night. And then obviously yourself, and then there was me. So it was so cool though. It was like almost a full circle moment that we were back in the room together.
Yeah, it was wild.
So that was really cool. I love that. So why don't you, because we're gonna have some fun, but we're gonna try to give some encouragement too. Why don't you tell everybody listening, like, so you mentioned you met Pre in college, but like, when did you know that you were called into ministry? Jonston's a worship pastor. So, like, when did you know you were called into ministry? Like, what did that look like for you?
So, there's a few marking moments. Shout out Jensen Franklin. I shared that on our first podcast with my first podcast with Pastor Justin. So, there were moments that growing up, I knew I would be involved in some way, but I also was very involved, like, academically. I thought about pursuing pre-engineering and stuff at Jacksonville State. Fear the beat. And but I remember one specific time that changed my life, and I told this story recently. I told this story very recently at church. So growing up in high school, I always brought my guitar with me because I was like, I had like this fake humility about me. Like I always wanted to play. I always wanted to show, because I knew I was pretty decent for my age. And I always wanted to show people that I could do that, but I always had this like false humility about me, like, no, I'm not that guy, but I was being that guy on the inside. And I always brought my guitar with me, and I always wanted somebody to ask me to play, and they never did. I've never told you this story, I don't think.
I don't think I've ever heard this.
Yeah.
How have I not heard this?
I don't know, but they never did for years. And I went to this party that I shouldn't have been at. It was like this county-wide party, like Ramburn and Heflin kids all together, and it was like this huge thing. And I can't remember if I was out of high school or if it was my senior year. I think I might have been out of high school barely. I don't know, something along those lines.
Sure.
And I walk in, and there's like these people sitting around a fire playing guitar, and I'm like, this is my moment. And then I realized I didn't bring my guitar this one time.
Wow. The
one time I didn't bring it. And the one time, without a doubt, I know God spoke to me, and this is the only time I know for certain that he did. Like a voice hit me in my chest. I was sitting there in that moment, and I was like, man, I missed my shot. I heard a voice say, what I've called you to do is not about you. And that changed my life. It's like that, those simple words, like, yeah, he gave me my gift. Yeah, he, did all these things. And I've been talking a lot with my team at church that our gift is not the thing. It's not even about spirit flowing through our gift. Right. Our gift is just a tool to respond to him.
Right.
And I knew in that moment, whenever I heard that voice, like, okay, everything that he's called me to do, everything that, he's walking me to is to bless him and to minister and to surrender my own ambitions and dreams for his. So
no doubt, dude, that's so good that the gift is not the main thing. It's the gift giver. That's so impactful. We were raised together in church our whole lives. We were raised together in the same church in our hometown in Ramburn. And look at us now. You went to college. You went out to college to ORU. I moved down south to Mobile. Did a little swapperoo. You're now serving in Mobile.
Yep.
And I'm here in beautiful Rome.
I'm living in your shadow. That's what I do.
Well, that's tough. Listen, all the people heard us talking about basketball, right? So obviously, they know. I think all the viewers know that I'm a sports guy. You're a sports guy. We grew up around sports guys. Our family,
we did.
Our family
That's
is in Roll Tide, baby.
Yeah, roll
Tide every Saturday.
That's right.
And so we grew up in a competitive family, like
hardcore.
Out of both of us, who would you say is more competitive?
It's me, and it's not close. But so you were definitely more athletic than me.
You think so? Not
a question. But I think your class that you compared yourself to, because you had a really good class.
I did have a good class.
So I think you kind of gave up a little bit, like, because you are kind of soft.
And I didn't try. Like I feel like I didn't try hard though.
No, you didn't. You didn't.
See, I was just nonchalant.
And I'm just like hard. I'm so like, I'm like, everything I do, I'm like fixated on it,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm like, I'm going to grind it out. And like, dude, you should see me like playing church league softball. Like it's almost gotten me fired like 8 times.
I can imagine.
But
Yeah.
like, I'm so ultra competitive, but I don't think I have. God knew what he was doing when he made me.
Absolutely, he did.
That's all I'll say.
We are very competitive. Like, I remember the nights at your dad's house that we would break out phase 10 cards and literally leave almost fighting.
Yes.
Like, my stepdad, your dad, brothers, we would leave that house and they would be like words thrown.
Yes.
Like, we're about to have to take this outside over phase 10.
Yes, like we had like days long Monopoly games, and then like they would like quit before it ended because like they would get mad, not because they weren't bought in. Like they would just get mad at each other.
That's so true. That's so true. But those days were so fun, though. Do you know what was one of my favorite, like, I guess, periods of our childhood? Do you remember, you would have been young too, though. Do you remember when every Sunday after church, we would go and do lunch at Nanny's house?
Yeah.
Nanny's our grandma.
Nanny's a
Shout out Nanny.
Yeah.
She's the best.
She'll probably watch this.
She probably will watch this. So shout out Nanny.
Shout
we
out
love
to
you so much.
You're the GOAT.
Do you remember Sunday lunches at Nanny's house?
I do, man. It was, we didn't even really realize how special that was. And I'm not trying to like, speak it up. Like I really mean that. Like it was just like life. That's just what you did, And then like we had Sunday night church back then.
Yeah, we did.
There'd be like 40 people in the room, but like you eat lunch at Nanny's house, take a little nap, maybe play basketball, and then go to church. So
those 40 people would throw down though.
We had
in
church.
Our little country church. We would throw down with 40 people on Sunday night.
That's right.
So you are a full-time worship pastor at Forward Church, and really, since you got out of school, have been really hands-on in worship, whether that's, traveling to other churches around our hometown, going to college for that. You've worked at another church as well as a full-time worship pastor. So, that's really something that is outside of my knowledge. Like, y'all know me. If I don't got it like that. I can't sing. I can't really play anything. So, to anybody who's watching that has a heart for worship, like, what would you say is a big misconception for worship? Like, what's something that, like, maybe people don't see, people don't get, people don't understand? Maybe that's a tough question. But.
I think, and I can pick on us because I'm a Pentecostal and I'm charismatic. So I think something that we do is that we idolize the gift. And we talk about like Holy Spirit flowing through us. And yes, Holy Spirit is going to use the moment for sure. Because the good thing about our faith compared to other faiths is that, other faiths like Buddhism, Hinduism, like it's all about empty yourself, empty yourself, empty yourself. Well, ours is empty yourself so I can feel you, right? Mm-hmm. And like Holy Spirit is going to use the moment. He always shows up. When we bless Him, He blesses us. But like the one thing is we are ministering to the Lord, and we miss that so bad. Like we think that like we have this like cross to minister to the room, and like we need to lock in so the room can get what they need. It's like no. It's like when we minister to the Lord, people see Him when we minister to the Lord, and it might be 3 people at first. Like not everybody's going to see it. Not everybody's going to see Him. But when they see Him, that's what's going to make things happen. Not that I'm so anointed that when I worship, that chains fall. It's like, no, when they see Jesus, chains fall.
Absolutely.
And I think that we miss that. We need to get back to, it's not about Holy Spirit using my gift. It's about my gift is a tool to respond to the King who's in the room. And when they see Him, that's when things change.
That's so, and to me, almost that point you just made combats this idea of performance-based ministry that I feel like the first few episodes of this podcast, the 4-1 podcast, were all about toxic church culture.
Church egg.
Yes. And like,
having a church egg.
Yes. And one of those I feel like is so bad, but maybe it's because of the influence of social media and we can see how good other people do ministry. And so we want to replicate that and it turns into a performance. But what you're just saying is the combatant to that for it not to become performance based, and to me that's so special, so important. because a lot of people make it that, and it's just not. That's not what I'm about.
And something that because it's the same way in youth ministry or any pastoral ministry is people. When you look at people on social media ministering, you don't see their journey before that, and when I was in college, I was a volunteer for 3 years in college, and I thought I was, I can be false humble all I want to, but I thought I was the best in my area for my age coming out, and then I go to a big pond, a small fish in a big pond. It's just like, it humbles you, and it kept me from idolizing my gift. And like I said, I was a volunteer for 3 years. My point with this is like being faithful will take you way farther. One of my mentors in the past taught me, your gift will get you places, but your character will keep you there. It's like being faithful, and it's so hard in our culture because we want it now. We want it now. Like social media and all that has caused it that way. I'm not going to beat a dead horse because we talk about that all the time, but being faithful and doing the little things, weed eating the grass when nobody wants to, like it'll put you in places that, like it put me in places I'm not qualified to be in.
I've just got to just because I think that will be so helpful for everybody watching this. Tell that story.
Yeah.
Like just straight up go there because it's so, dude, this story is so powerful. It's so good.
So the cool thing about me being at Forward is I never led worship one time when I was at Forward, when I was interning. Like I was just like your sidekick in youth ministry, and I barely did anything. They didn't pay me a lot, but they paid me way more than they should have.
Right. So part of Jonston's college is that he had to do a internship at a church, and so he calls me and is like, "Hey, bro, like, I've got to do an internship. Like, wonder if I could come and just kind of shadow you for a summer and see what's up." Even though I didn't do worship, but like it still was. They just needed him to get relevant ministry experience.
Yeah.
So
it was really just my excuse to play golf with you all summer.
We played a lot of golf.
We did.
Listen, CJ's par 3.
CJ's par 3
way too much.
It needs to be closed down. But
probably does.
It needs to be renovated. We can set up a GoFundMe for CJ or something.
Dude, I love it.
He'll never see this. So. There's no way CJ's watching this.
No way.
So I'm a worship pastor at Forward Church, but they never once had me lead worship when I was there as an intern for the summer. I was just kind of, doing the little things, and one of the things I did was I cut the grass every time I needed cut, and I would weed eat and stuff, and just trying to find ways to help. And when I interviewed for this job, it'd be
a year and a half later or something?
Yeah, let's see, what was it, September 2025? So, yeah, it was like 2 years later.
Yeah.
I knew, I addressed the elephant in the room. I'm 23 years old. Like, I know you're taking a chance on me because that's a bold thing to do, hiring a 23-year-old in a pastoral position. And I asked Pastor Justin and Pastor Cassie at their house during the interview, I was like, why me? And Pastor Cassie's answer was, because you weed eated. And of course, I like break down crying, because I'm soft.
Because you're soft.
I am. I wear my heart on my sleeve.
Yeah.
But I was like, it was just so humbling that, dude, your gift is not why you're here, bro. Like, yeah, like, I might have musical knowledge and all that, but what got me there was because I was willing to do the little things. And I'm not bragging on myself. I think that just God's sovereign will, like God put me there, and He kind of implanted that in me, so I would do the little things right, to set me up for success and be there. Because I definitely, it's just hard to hire a 23-year-old as a worship pastor, but they took a shot on me because of the little things, man.
And it's not a small church. I mean, this is a large church.
Right.
This is a large church, and to anybody watching, I mean, if that'll preach, if you'll be faithful over the small things that God gives you. God is the promoter. And I think a lot of times we work so hard to try to promote ourselves, because we feel like we're ready for this next season or this next step. But man, just being faithful with where you are, with what you have, where you're planted, God sees that. Like God sees that, and He will promote you. He will advance you in due season whenever He determines that you're ready for that. And I think that's so important for anybody who's watching this to know. Like maybe you're in a job or you're at a school, maybe you're a senior. I don't know. Wherever you find yourself, if you feel like, man, there's more for me, there may be. But until God says yes, until God advances you into more, you be content and be faithful and do everything that you can where you are.
Yeah.
Man.
Absolutely. Because I'll say this, like, I think I would have failed if I would have went to Florida straight out of college, you know. If that opportunity was open at that time, I think I would have failed. But, you know, I think that God used other, you know, opportunities for me to grow me for this season, because I was not ready when I was out of college. You know, it's like they taught me a lot of things in college, but they can't teach me how to be a pastor, how to be a shepherd. Like those things you have to develop.
That's right.
And I was not ready, but God used the little things in my life to prepare me for that.
Sure. Absolutely.
And I'm still not ready. I'm still learning, but
every day, dude. That never stops.
Yeah, I literally like 3 times a week. I'm like, bro, I'm not logged in. Like,
yeah. Listen, I know that time, and I'll check the time. We got one more question maybe, and then we got to get you out of here.
I know I got to be at rehearsal at 6 o'clock Alabama time. So,
and he is.
What time is it right now?
He is
Alabama time.
6 hours away from home. Right now, you are sitting at 11 o'clock Alabama time.
We'll be there.
For anybody,
hey, no leadership meeting tonight, Bethany. I just letting you know. I'll send a text right after this.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Forward Church, please forgive me if he's late.
I need your grace to make it through.
Yes, Pastor Justin, forgive me, dog. I love you.
He's the man.
Yes, absolutely.
He's gotten swole, by the way.
He has.
Yeah,
he has. And if you're watching this, he's probably gonna turn red if he's watching this.
I know.
About him getting swole.
He is swole though. Like he's like, dude. Katie Lumpkin put a picture of him on the LED wall last week, and he had because he was talking about chains, the scripture where he gives him a gold chain and all that. I think was it the prodigal son?
Mm-hmm. And his necklace and ring.
Yeah, and it's like his big Mr. T deal. It was awesome.
Was it AI generated?
Yes.
Yes. I love it. I need that, by the way, in my life.
I'll send it to you after.
Yeah. Well, listen. Before we get out of here, just because you're stepping into ministry, you have a baby, you have a child, Lolo.
I do.
And a wife, obviously, Kayla.
Kayla, you're the goat. I love you.
We love Kayla. So, how, and there are people who are not in ministry that watch this, but a lot of people who do serve at church, serve in different capacities, and there are people who are in ministry. Talk about, you mentioned early on that it was a huge moment for you that Kayla traveled with you, sang with you last night, and just that family element, because I know early on for me, it was such a problem. I consumed myself with everything about the church and my job, and a lot of times my family were the ones that felt that. Mm-hmm. And so I remember early, I was probably your age or even younger, where Tara sat me down at home one night. I had worked at the church until 9 o'clock at night. And I get home, she had me a plate of dinner that was cold, and it was sitting in the microwave. And she was, starting to kind of get ready for bed. And I sat down, and she was like, I think we really need to talk about having some hard lines of I understand that ministry is something you don't clock in and clock out of, but also we need you here,
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to learn that, and I feel like I've gotten a lot better at that. But just talk about that element of including your family in ministry in a healthy way, but also how to have a healthy home and ministry.
Yeah. Josh Howerton, Pastor Josh Howerton, I listen to him a lot.
I love that dude.
He's a stud, and he said, because men and women were wired differently. Men have the tendency to put their jobs over their family. Women have the tendency to put their children over their spouse. We have these different battles, and men are definitely, it's a common thing. And I think generations before it was significantly worse, and I'm thankful that I'm thankful that it's a focus now, because used to, dads would come home, they'd sit back in their chair, read their paper, watch TV, not talk to anybody.
Right.
And that was normal, But I'm just now learning to prioritize my family. And, because of my background, how I grew up, like I was never in the same house more than 2 nights a week. So I was used to always changing, no stability. And I got used to that, and that kind of became like a normal for me. So it's like a chore for me to be at my house. But I know that my family needs me. And it's funny because Kayla come from a totally different background. Like, she lived in the same house her whole entire life. She never seen her parents argue once.
Dude, so there would be some weeks I feel like you'd be with your mom a night or two, your dad, then you'd come and stay with me for a night,
and
then you'd go to Nanny for a night, and then just kind of start the whole process back over, shuffling up. Yeah.
So me, like, thinking that home being a priority wasn't a thing for me. It was just like it happened, But like even little things, like I'm switching gyms right now because living in Irvington, like everything's in Mobile pretty much. So it takes me at least 2 hours to go to the gym and back because it's 30 minutes there, 30 minutes back, and work out for an hour, And now I'm switching gyms to go to Grand Bay, to save me 45 minutes because those 45 minutes might be a difference on if Logan serves the Lord or not because she's bitter towards me because I'm not at home,
Right.
Or that Kayla like doesn't want to be in ministry anymore because she don't have a husband because of it, and it's just like our first priority is our family, and that's hard because we want to win souls, we want to advance the kingdom. One of my mentors in college talked about how he lost somebody he really loved because he was like, this person wanted to spend time with him more, and he was like, what do you mean? Like, there's souls lost, and you want me to prioritize spend time with you? And and he lost that relationship, and I'd never thought about that until recently, because he said it, but of course I wasn't really listening,
Right, yeah.
But I'm just now like the gears are turning, like, okay, this is life or death, because how many pastors have we seen where their church, is pretty decent. Their church is flourishing, but their family falls away.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
that is why, because the priorities are not there, and I don't want my family to suffer for my career success. So just remembering every single day that our families are our first priority. That is our first mission.
Yeah.
Because God trusted us with our family before He trusts us with ministry.
Absolutely.
That's our first thing.
Dude, I get so much joy every time I open my door and I have 3 beautiful babies scream, "Dada!" and they come running and give me love. Like, there's just nothing can replace that.
And I do too, but it wasn't always that way. Like, I didn't always embrace that. Like, I just kind of went through the motions with it, but there has to be an intentionality there because their souls are at stake, and I'm the priest of the home, so it falls back on me. Like, I'm completely accountable.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, that is such good stuff. Well, listen, we're not going to keep you. We're going to let you get out of here, but, man, just know I love you.
I love you too, dude. I'm thankful for you.
I'm thankful for you.
We've come a long way.
We have come a
It's
long
weird.
way.
It's kind of, it's kind of surreal, like, looking back, like, I used to, like, watch videos like this. And like people and telling their story and stuff, and it's just like I'm no celebrity at all, like at all.
No, me either.
But it's just like God's brought us a long way, man.
Even to be able to talk about the things we're talking about now. And like, so we went to dinner last night, and we were telling stories at dinner, and I strictly said those stories are not to be told on the pod.
No, what happens at Chili's stays at Chili's.
Exactly.
And we felt God in that Chili's.
We did feel God in Chili's last night.
We did.
But to go from those stories that we were sharing of us being rambunctious, I guess was a word you could use, in high school, growing up, to who we are today, fathers, pastors, it truly is special. And I'm glad that I have had a front seat to your journey and all God's done for you.
Likewise, dude.
Yeah.
I've watched you, and there were times where, the distance kind of distanced us, but God always restores, and I'm thankful for your mentorship.
Listen, I'm so glad that you guys are tuning in to watch. thank you so much for taking the time to do this. This is, man, this is going to be great.
Absolutely.
I'm so glad. So, man, we'll catch up. We'll see you. Drive safe.
You're the man.
I love
I'm
you,
literally
bro.
about to walk right out the door and leave.
Absolutely. All right. We'll see y'all.
All right. See you, man.
Wow, that was such a great conversation. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Listen, if you like this type of content, I want you to subscribe to this channel. That would help me out so much. And please comment down below. I'd love to continue this conversation in the comment section below. Visit my channel. If you want to check out anything else like this, go visit it. Be blessed. I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks.